drove me crazy yesterday, including some of our colleagues here. Oh, this game is boring. Oh, entertain me. Please make me want to watch. Shut up! Just shut up! If you don't want to watch, then don't watch. Go watch the Raptors and the Knicks. Go do something else. But don't sit there for 4 flippin' hours with your eyes glued to the game and say, oh, this is so boring. But I can't stop watching. Oh, it's so boring. Just shut the hell up.
Oh, okay.
I mean, give me a break. If you don't want to watch it, then don't watch it. But don't watch the game and sit there and go, oh, I hate it. That's the worst. And you people that did that, you're the worst. The absolute worst. Yeah, Jerry, we'll tell them. I don't want to hear any of that garbage. If you don't want to watch the game, don't watch the game. But don't sit there watching the game and saying, oh, I'm so bored. I can't take it anymore. Give me a break.
Welcome to the Schrobank Show. I'm Champagne Schroeder here with our co-host Rowdy Ray and Rated R Randy. That was Trey Wingo on Wingo and Golick the morning after the Super Bowl. So we watched the Super Bowl. What were you guys' takes on the 13-3 finish? The New England Patriots taking away their 6th Super Bowl victory.
Garbage. Pure deaf and ball special.
As the resident Patriots fan, thoroughly unimpressed with the finished product because, one, you watched all season the LA Rams tout being this explosive offense, we can score at any point on the field, and I can't figure out if it's literally an ineptitude on their part or just superiority on the Patriots' part. Belichick and Flores, putting on a clinic defensively. And I feel like it can be both. It definitely can be both. Yeah. Because there's no way that explosive offense got held to 3 points.
3. They did not score a touchdown in that game. They didn't even really threaten to score a touchdown in that game.
And a lot of my criticism falls on Jared Goff, to be honest. This is his 3rd year?
Yeah, 3rd year in the league.
This is his 3rd year in the league, and the man is still not making proper progressions. We can't coddle you anymore.
Yeah, there's some work to be done. Because
this man would make one read, and if that man was not open, all hell was breaking loose in his head. Ridiculous. That's unacceptable to be the offensive captain of, the highly touted offense that the LA Rams are. That's unacceptable. You know what I'm saying? He really needs to go back to the drawing board. And I commend him for, really, stepping up and saying, hey, a lot of the things that was going on offensively, a lot of the failures going on, that was my fault. Okay, you can keep saying this because he said that after the Rams lost to the Saints, and was talking about, he put a lot of the onus on himself. Okay, cool. You can keep saying that till you blue in the face. I need to see physical change.
Yeah. And I mean, you can't score 52 points on the Chiefs and turn around and score 3 points against the Patriots. You know what I'm saying? Like, those defenses are worlds apart and coaching worlds apart. But basically what I'm saying is you can't put up 50 points on an NFL team and then
only put up 3
in the Super Bowl.
In the biggest game.
Absolutely shit the bed.
Exactly.
I mean, 3 points. You didn't get in the end zone. You have Todd Gurley. You have Jared Goff. You have a decent offensive line. Robert Woods. Brandon Cooks. How do you not score 6 one time? Not once.
And it's not like the defense didn't put him in position. Because how many straight punts was it?
I want to say 7, maybe 8. From the Rams?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was like 8 straight punts, right?
I mean, between both teams, I mean, there was
it was like double-digit punts.
Yeah, there was a stretch where it was nothing but punts for quite some stretch.
So it's not like the defense didn't hold up. They did their job. They put you in position.
Look at the first drive of the game.
They got a turnover.
First pass of the game, Tom Brady throws a pick, and you can't score a point. They didn't even score a field goal off that. You can't score 1 point.
And you got arguably one of a top 3 kicker in the league.
Exactly.
And you only put up 3. Exactly. You only put up 3. Be ashamed.
Be very ashamed. I think that field goal at the end of the game pretty much said everything about that game. It's 13-3. I like the idea by McVay. Kick the field goal. Let's go for the onside kick, and let's try to tie the game. And can't even make the kick. I mean, that just was the whole night in that.
Because the same thing happened to the Rams that happened to the fans. They souls were sucked out from that damn game.
Oh, for sure. For sure. You look at that offense, Jared Goff goes 19 of 38, 229 yards, 1 interception. Todd Gurley actually got 10 carries in this football game, 35 yards. C.J. Anderson, 7 carries, 22 yards. And when you look at Brandon Cooks, he had 8 catches for 120 yards in this game.
Jesus Christ.
8 catches for 120 yards. When I was looking at the box score, I couldn't believe that.
That man was eating.
He was eating. But what did it do for the team?
Nothing.
Exactly. I mean, you have to capitalize off the production that you have, and even at that, you look at Robert Woods. He had 5 catches for 70 yards.
Production.
And on the defensive side of the ball, which this was a defensive game back and forth through and through, Corey Littleton that had 6 tackles and an interception in this game. I mean, the defense put them in positions, like you were saying just a minute ago, they put them in plenty of positions to win the football game, let alone score. I mean, it's a 10-point game at the end of the day. I mean, they could have won this football game.
Exactly.
And congratulations to the Patriots because, man, the coaching, this may be Bill Belichick's best product he's ever put on the field coaching-wise. With this team, and like I said in the review and leading up to championship weekend, the Chiefs, I still believe, have more talent than the Patriots do altogether on that team. I think the Chiefs were the better team, but you can't do anything when, Belichick's on God mode at this point with the coaching.
Oh yeah, no, like he reached a zen point this postseason, from the dismantling of the Chargers to somehow beating this juggernaut offense of the Chiefs and then completely shutting down the Rams.
He's playing on rookie. Everybody else playing on all Madden at the end of the day. On the Patriots side of the football, Tom Brady, 21 for 38, 262 yards, 1 interception. We talked about that. Sony Michel, another performance where he got a lot of handoffs, 18 carries, 94 yards. He got the lone touchdown in the game. One guy that really surprised me, Gronk. Gronk had a game.
He did.
Gronk had a game. 6 catches, 87 yards. And big moments, too.
Oh, yeah. Because when he caught that, 30-yard bomb from Brady.
That set up the touchdown?
Yeah, and double coverage.
Exactly. We saw old Gronk.
Exactly. He had a couple flashes in that game.
Vintage
and
Gronk.
Then can we finally talk about the hero of the game?
Man, I was saving the best for last.
Oh, okay. Because
that boy, 10 catches, 141 yards. 10 catches.
10. Eating.
What are y'all doing?
Nothing.
You hold that team to 13 points, and you let Edelman go unnoticed half the game. There was one thing in the Chiefs game I just didn't understand. How is he unaccounted for? How is Edelman wide open over the middle of the field? And it goes back to what Randy was saying. Edelman in the playoffs, his route running is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
I ain't gonna lie. It had me to the point where I started questioning if he was on PEDs, honestly.
I think everybody was saying that, too. Everyone was saying that.
It's ridiculous how juiced up the boy gets.
Hey, he had to have got tested. They had to come test him.
Yeah, they had to.
Had to.
Because it's just something about the postseason that just makes this man turn up.
It's crazy.
It's almost like as if, what's that man named? Robert Horry, if he just stayed with one team.
Man.
For some reason, he just turned up and hit clutch shots in postseason. That's his thing. He steps up when it counts.
Mm-hmm.
Regular season, above average.
That's the crazy thing to me, because when I see Julian Edelman in the regular season, I'm like, that's not the same guy as when it's the playoffs.
Exactly.
Like, if he did that in the regular season, he'd be
elite.
Yeah.
And to be that reliable.
Yeah.
And that, okay, so that poses a question for me that me and my little brother had a little debate on throughout the game. Is Julian Edelman a Hall of Famer? And if he is a Hall of Famer, is he a first ballot Hall of Famer?
No, definitely not a first ballot. Definitely not a first ballot. But a case can be made for him to go into the Hall of Fame.
I personally think hands down he's a Hall of Famer. Especially after that performance. He's number 2 all time in Super Bowl receptions to Jerry Rice. That can't be denied.
And that's my main thinking about it too, is because it's one thing if he's just doing this in empty playoff games where, they lose or something. He's doing this on the biggest stage.
Exactly.
Where they get wins.
And if Edelman isn't in that game, in that Super Bowl, do the Patriots win that football game? Because I don't think they do.
No.
The consistency that you got out of him throughout that evening, you look at that and he has to be accounted for. You have to be looking for him. It opens up other things like the Gronk plays that we saw. The Gronk play to set up the touchdown. The running game. The running game has been ridiculous through this playoff stretch for the Patriots and the way that they've schemed their running game. And then to have to also worry about Edelman on top of that?
Honestly,
good luck.
And what really helps build his case as for making the Patriots so successful, think about it last year. He didn't play against Philly.
Exactly.
And we looked lost out there. You know what I'm saying?
It showed that he wasn't a part of that game.
Exactly. Because we didn't have him or Gronk, right?
I'm not 100% sure about Gronk, but I know Edelman didn't play that game. That, and think about the Atlanta game. Do y'all come back and win that game without Edelman?
Hell no. He gave that team a new breath of life with that amazing
Exactly.
catch.
And that alone, to me, I mean, those two games and, the moment, like you said, that catch, and the magnitude of this performance, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And we didn't even bring up the performance against the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, boy.
And he went
Exactly.
stupid.
Exactly.
All right, yeah.
And the consistency, I mean, he's always there. If he's not hurt, he is there, and he is a factor.
Yeah, I agree with you. On that. I think he'll definitely be considered a Hall of Famer. It's just a matter of when he'll get in there.
What's his class?
Yeah, I was about to say
going
when he
against?
retires and who's going to be a part of his class.
if I see like Julio Jones and Odell Beckham Jr. in that same class, I'm sorry, cuz you're not gonna make it on that
Odell
part.
Beckham.
Right.
All right, see, man, here you go. This
Hall of Fame?
He is a hater.
How am I hating? Oh, come on, what credentials does Odell to be in the Hall of Fame at this current moment?
What is it for the past? Every
the
year
catch?
No.
I'm just saying, what?
What, the boy already got 4,000 yards in his 4 years of four playing seasons, right? Already up to between 350 and 450 receptions.
What Edelman has done in the postseason though trumps anything. At this point, Edelman is above Odell. I'm not saying down the road it may be different, but
that's what I thought he was talking about. I thought he was talking about just when it's all said and done for Odell.
Is that what you thought I was saying?
That's what I thought. That's what I thought you were saying.
No. I'm talking about right now.
Right now. Okay.
Not even projecting for his future.
Yeah, that's tough.
Right now, Edelman. I take Edelman over Odell.
But Edelman's been in the league longer, right?
Yes,
that's true. Yeah.
So that's tough.
Yeah, nah, I'm sorry. I'm not.
Taking Odell over Edelman?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm not taking Edelman over Odell. Why would
he has 3 rings, man.
Right.
No, are y'all okay? My bad. I'm completely misunderstanding y'all because I thought y'all was talking about on a team right now.
Mm-hmm.
No, I thought you were talking about just the Hall of Fame shit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay, my bad. See. Yeah,
okay. I see what you're saying.
You saying if I had to pick somebody? Easily.
Yeah.
Easily, I'm taking
3
Odell.
rings.
Yeah.
One Super Bowl
Edelman, if you don't sit your old ass down.
Kind of gives all more reason to that PED talk, right?
Oh yeah.
And he already got popped earlier this season.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that's a serious thing. He the way he runs the routes in the playoffs begs that question. Is he on PEDs?
Because the boy there's no reason to be that turned in the postseason. No reason. Especially in the Super Bowl.
It's a different level of route running in the playoffs with him.
Not to mention the just level of intensity this man is at.
Yeah. It's definitely great to watch. It's definitely great to watch, man.
So throughout that game, I personally I enjoyed the game. I enjoyed it being a 13-3 game. I enjoyed the defense, and with the level of defense that was in that game, just the Gronk play that we talked about, the magnitude of each play was just so much bigger.
I will say that the game did stay tense.
It gives every play such a
Level of significance, yes.
And we talked about, these back and forth games are great. I do enjoy the back and forth games. It does give you the same kind of like, you're exhausted after these games. But I think I was kind of the same way with the Super Bowl, because it's like every down, every play, like if you mess one thing up, if you fuck this up, you give up a 20-yard play, you give up a 30-yard play, you give up, some type of big play that changes field position, changes everything. I mean, at the end of the day, this game was pretty much a game of field position. And the biggest thing is the Rams didn't capitalize on field position, and the Patriots did.
All right, guys, we're going to transition into some free agency talk in the NFL. Whole lot of things going on in the offseason. We're going to get right down to it. Now, my co-host, Champagne Shoulder, just named off a whole bunch, like 50 to 100 names on his free agent list.
We got a list.
And guess what? None of them were the people I was going to talk about.
Ooh.
I think the most important person we can talk about is Kareem Hunt.
Ooh, okay.
There was
Spicy.
I believe, I don't know if there's a meeting that took place with where Veach was talking, and one of the things he did not rule out was Kareem Hunt returning to the Kansas City Chiefs, and that is heaven for all Chiefs fans. Nightmares for anyone who's not.
Imagine Kareem Hunt with Damian Williams after him asserting himself, because we already got him locked up.
Yeah, and Spencer Ware unfortunately is out. He's out.
Yeah,
him and Shark Hendrick, they are out.
Yeah, they are out. But the possibility of getting Kareem Hunt is unfinished business. I feel like we should get him back. I feel like in the first place he shouldn't have been, I guess, outcasted from the team, so to speak.
Yeah. I get to a point why they did what they did, because he lied to him, but at the same time, I mean, like, I feel like business is put ahead of a lot of other things in a lot of other situations, and, when you got a running back of this caliber that you wouldn't have had to pay, you didn't have to cut him, you wouldn't have had to pay him, and he wouldn't have taken up a roster spot. I mean, what's the point of releasing him at that point? I feel like at least ride it out and let's see what's going to happen at least until next season. I mean, like I said, you don't have to pay him. He doesn't take up a roster spot until he's off that commissioner's list.
Exempt list.
Yeah, so I mean, what was the point of getting rid of him other than, we want to prove a point because he lied to us about the situation?
Which makes me think that they were pump faking the whole time. It wasn't really about that. It was just for the optics of the situation.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel you there, too, because, I mean, with the way everything is right now, I mean, like, that's what looks good, you know what I mean, is to just cut him, cut all ties, get rid of him, outcast him from the league in general, He did something bad, so forget that he gotta pay bills, that he has a job to do,
And I think the front office, they were so, I guess, somewhat self-righteous in their decision. They thought that everybody else was going to be like that. So once, other teams started entertaining the idea of bringing Kareem Hunt onto their roster, they were like, all right, we might need to bring this motherfucker back.
Yeah. Well, and it's something that kind of goes to the Marcus Peters thing. The fact that we let Marcus Peters go is ridiculous. I still think it's, and what we got for him. The fact that we didn't get a first-round pick for Marcus Peters, shame on you. Shame on the Chiefs organization for that. You got the best cornerback that came out of the draft since Deion Sanders.
So, time out.
No.
Out.
Numbers? Interceptions?
Out.
Interception-wise, this is the best corner that came out of the draft since Deion Sanders.
Pat Peterson don't exist.
Hey, interception, numbers-wise, Marcus Peters.
You talking about the boomer bust corner?
I am.
What about Revis Island, bro?
That's
I'm talking strictly interceptions.
I love this thing believe out, bro.
Because I really can't believe this shit. This motherfucker's ignorant.
Leon Sandcastle.
All right.
But no, for real. I mean, to not get a first-round pick, at least out of Marcus Peters, it was ridiculous. I still think.
They got bent over.
Yeah.
What y'all get for Marcus Peters?
A second-rounder, I think. Maybe a third-rounder. It wasn't shit.
Unacceptable.
Yeah, we got bullshit from Marcus Peters. All because he's, too emotional or...
Because that motherfucker was protesting the national anthem.
Exactly. I mean...
It was like, hey,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's not fake the funk, you know what I'm saying?
And the fact that, like, so many Chiefs fans and so many people around here, I feel like went with that narrative. Like, he's too emotional. Like, they were happy we traded him. I still don't understand that.
That was crazy to me.
Yeah.
And we still got Tyreek Hill on the team.
real.
See, this is a case I bring up on a regular basis.
On the regular.
The
Ray be
motherfucker-
talking about this shit all the time.
The motherfucker was convicted of beating the shit out of his baby mother.
Pregnant girl.
Pregnant.
He was using her stomach as a punching bag.
But that's not emotional enough. You know, just for talking that shit. That's too emotional. And honestly,
that happened before he got to the Chiefs.
You right. You right. He does have a point right there.
That's the logic. All right, enough on Marcus Peters and last season and everything that went down in last offseason. Let's get back into a little bit more of this offseason, talking about some of the free agents. If you need an edge rusher this offseason, this is your team's offseason. Between the draft and all of the free agents that you have out there, I mean, really, it's endless potential.
It really is. Honestly, I really want the Patriots to keep an eye on Brandon Graham. I know he's a little bit older in age, but we always seem to make, the best of those savvy veterans. And then the fact that we can go out and still possibly get a decent, DN through the draft.
Yeah.
I feel like we can't lose, and something I feel like we've been needing for some time is, quality edge rushers.
Yeah, and Brandon Graham's somebody you could get for a year or two.
Exactly.
And exactly. And with you guys giving up Trey Flowers right now, who will be hitting the market as well.
Exactly.
Y'all gonna need something. Speaking of edge rushers, D Ford is another one that's out there. I honestly think that he'll end up staying in Kansas City. I don't think that he'll be going anywhere, but
I'm not trying to pay him through the nose though either.
yeah, I mean I feel you on that. What's the franchise tag on him?
Yeah, I forgot what it goes for.
I think it'd be
players,
10 to 15.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Something
if not
like that.
more, honestly.
But at the end of the day, I think D Ford's kind of got to prove what he did this season. I mean, this is the only season he's had a good season. I mean, other than that, we've really been looking past D Ford for a couple of years now. To be real honest, as Chiefs fans,
Ooh, and not to mention, thinking about Nick Foles. He's gonna be a hot free agent.
That's
out there
true.
On the market too.
That's true, unless the Eagles tag him.
I think they did, didn't they?
No, they they optioned in on his deal. He had a team option, but he bought his way out of it.
Oh, he bought his way out.
It would have been $20 million. He paid $2 million to get out of it. But if they tag him, that's $25 million guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Elite money.
And at the end of the day, they're just going to be looking to trade him. Who's going to want to take on that contract? $25 million for Nick Foles to be your starter?
And they don't have the cap space. Ooh, and not to mention, who is it? Jay Ajayi. He's also a free agent this year too.
Good call. Running backs, you got Le'Veon Bell as well.
Yep.
That's going to be a free agent. We spoke a little bit about Kareem Hunt. That'll be out there. Defense, though, man, it's stacked defensive-wise. Cameron Wake. Dante Fowler Jr. is another one out there. Shaquille Barrett, linebacker.
What? Shaq Barrett?
Mm-hmm. He's out there. C.J. Mosley will be out there. Sheldon Richardson. Jordan Hicks for the Bears. Then you look at some DBs that you got out there with Earl Thomas, obviously.
Yep.
Ronald Darby's going to be out there. Bradley Roby as well. Jason McCourty. There's some talent out there to be had, especially defensively.
Yeah, it is. Honestly, defensively this year, off-season wise, if your team doesn't make the at least a decent move, that's just complete ineptitude on the front office at that point.
I totally agree with that. And like you're saying, the Patriots looking out for Brandon Graham. I think the Chiefs really got to look deep at some DBs. I think the Chiefs really need to, this mentality the last few years has been aggressive. Go out and get somebody in free agency. Go out and throw some money around. And we threw money around at Sammy Watkins last year. We need to focus 110% on the defense this year.
especially
for sure.
Yeah,
If they don't, it would be
whatever it takes.
yeah.
for real, especially the secondary.
And especially looking at, we don't know what's going on with Eric Berry. Who knows when Eric Berry's going to play again? At this point, there's some sources talking about he could possibly have surgery and be out for 12 months. We might not see Eric Berry play a down next year.
What's going on with him?
The same heel problem. The same thing that's going on with John Wall right now. Eric Berry just got back from Green Bay to see the same doctor that John Wall saw for
his Achilles injury.
And it's the same problem. It's a deformity in the Achilles. That's something that's what's plagued Eric Berry all season long. Is a deformity that they don't really know what's going on, and they got to figure out how to fix it. And at this point, surgery's been put off so long that, like I was just saying, I mean, we don't know how long Eric Berry, if he has surgery, that's at least 6 to 9 months, and he hasn't had surgery yet. It could be possibly 12 months.
First of all, I never want to have the same doctor as John Wall. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother. Anyway.
Yeah.
But who's to say that Eric Berry is going to even be as effective when he plays again, too?
I think we already saw that. I mean, the way he played Gronk, you look at the Eric Berry that played Gronk in that AFC Championship game, compare him to the Eric Berry that played Gronk that opening night game.
Night and day.
That's a totally different play.
He erased Gronk.
Exactly. Before he got hurt, because that was the game that he got hurt in with this Achilles injury. Yeah, he took Gronk completely out of the game.
And that was the best I've ever seen him play a tight end.
Yes.
Because up until that point, he was notorious for getting manhandled by tight ends.
Yeah. And
then he proved it wrong, and he got hurt.
Yep. And that might have been one of Eric Berry's best performances.
Yeah, for sure.
But, to have the safeties that you got out there, to have the cornerbacks that you got out there, defensive in general, and if the Chiefs were to let D Ford go, I mean, like we said, there's other edge rushers out there that the Chiefs could go after potentially. But I think, something's got to happen. Steven Nelson's in free agency. Something's got to happen with the Kansas City Chiefs defensively at the cornerback position or safety position. Trey Boston is another name that's out there on the free agent market. So we'll just see. And like I said, defensively, I mean...
Honestly, I think y'all really need to be chasing after Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be a huge boost to that secondary.
Yeah,
as long as his asking price isn't, outrageous.
And cap wise, they'll have to see exactly where they're at. But with the way the draft worked out last year, I mean, there's really nothing on that defense from that draft. Noddy, maybe I like him. Other than that, I mean, Breland Speaks is all right, but that draft that Veach had from last year, I think you got to do something in free agency, to impact that defense rather than being worried about just, okay, the draft's going to fix everything.
Yeah, for sure. And I think if Veach doesn't handle that, he needs to, his job needs to be reassessed. Yeah. At that position, we need to maybe find someone more suitable for us.
Yeah.
Because we're in win now mode. I know Pat is young, but
look at the Rams. Look at the Rams last year. They went balls to the walls. Marcus Peters to keep the lead. Ndamukong Suh, Dante Fowler Jr. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. This is the mindset of the NFL is aggressive right now. You go out in free agency and you aggressively pursue who you want and who is going to get a Super Bowl appearance.
All right, enough of football free agency talk. What is it? Saturday we got UFC 234 going on, and the main event is Robert Whittaker versus Kelvin Gastelum, and co-main, the people's main event is Israel Adesanya versus Anderson the Spider Silva.
Got a nice little mini middleweight tournament going on.
Yeah, that's what I kind of that's what I picked up from it. Mm-hmm. Because the rest of the card is it's a little forgettable. See, man, he's so disrespectful. So disrespectful. But
I'm gonna watch it, but I mean, it is what it is.
I mean, hope
hopefully,
for a surprise.
Exactly. Hopefully, we get a really good performance out of one of these guys. Somebody. We'll see.
Yeah, but the co-main is really, the fact that Yeah, it's getting almost more attention than the main event.
Yeah, I mean, kind of deservedly so, to a point. Just for the fact that, you know, Anderson Silva is back. The GOAT is back.
Yeah, he ain't the GOAT. But
Yeah, I mean, it's debatable.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, when you say GOAT, isn't John Jones considered the GOAT?
yeah, but he done fucked up so much. So.
Me personally, I think GSP's the GOAT.
GSP.
Yeah.
GSP. At this moment in time.
Yeah, at this.
So is that like the consensus GOAT of?
It's not the consensus.
I mean, you
but-
got okay. I think like between all the guys that you really could consider GOAT, you got Fedor, you got John Bones Jones, GSP, Anderson Silva,
Demetrius Johnson.
Demetrius Johnson, of course. I think at this point, Daniel Cormier is in that mix.
Yeah, he is definitely up there. Champ.
And at this point, shit, Amanda Nunes is up there.
Oh yeah. As far as women go,
Yeah.
undisputed at this point.
So at this point, I mean, it's definitely a debate for the GOAT, but I think it's kind of all on your personal opinion.
Yeah.
So UFC 234 in the co-main event, I think at the end of the day, I kind of like what Wonder Boy said, because I think that it would be awesome to see Anderson come back and get such a huge victory and over such a dominant young dude like Adesanya. But at the end of the day, I think this is all Israel Adesanya. I don't know how well Anderson will be able to react to the style bender.
Yeah, because Adesanya's style completely contradicts what Anderson's game is, based upon. Anderson Silva is used to, more aggressive opponents, pushing forward, trying to push him. When Adesanya, he plays both sides very well. You know what I'm saying? Whether he can be aggressive, but he'll let the opportunity come to him. He won't force it. Never forces it.
I think the Derek Brunson fight was perfect for that.
Oh yeah.
It just perfectly showed that he's gonna find the opportunity to finish the fight.
Yeah. That's kind of like that's what his whole game is kind of predicated upon. You know what I'm saying? Make them create a mistake where he can find and capitalize upon it.
Exactly.
And the worst part is it's almost like a page out of Anderson's book, So it'll kind of be. It's really just a passing of the guard at this point.
Yeah,
That's what that fight should be billed as.
Old guard meets the new guard.
Yep.
And I mean, they both are so similar in the way that they fight, I feel.
Mm-hmm. The way that they approach striking, and because they're both so cerebral about it,
and methodical, and
exactly,
just 5 steps ahead of what they're actually doing at the moment.
Exactly, they treat it like chess. It ain't checkers.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's gonna be a damn good fight, I think. Either way, my personal prediction is a second round finish for Adesanya.
Honestly, I see Adesanya pulling off a impressive 3-round decision.
Yeah.
I personally don't see how he can finish Anderson Silva, but he could prove me wrong.
Yeah, I think he'll take a round to kind of really feel him out, and maybe towards the end of the second round, find that moment where he can catch Anderson with something. And I don't think it's necessarily going to be like a flat-out knockout. Anderson's not moving, just maybe, he catches with something, drops him, hits him with a few punches, and we get a TKO.
Right. Okay.
That's more what I'm thinking of with the finish, late second round TKO more so.
Okay. But this main event, I can't call it.
This main event. I mean, it reminds me of somewhat of Holloway Ortega esque matchup. I mean, matchups like this that are the most fun because it's like you just don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, that Holloway fight. I mean, I don't think either one of us would have predicted what happened in the Holloway-Ortega fight.
Hell no, 4th round dominant finish.
And for him to just absolutely piece him up like that.
School him.
Was ridiculous.
Honestly, though, while I'm sitting here thinking about it, as slick as Robert Whittaker is, I really do think he's going to show us why he's champ.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that.
Because I was like, he's seen the best. The only man that's been able to, really push him is Yoel Romero.
And that's a different type of athlete right there.
Exactly. That man is It's damn
built
near
different.
not natural. Yeah.
Built different. Yeah. I think this is going to be such an interesting fight. I think this is going to be hard for Gastelum. If he can't get the fight to the ground, I think it's going to be difficult for Gastelum because Gastelum is a very good striker, but I think, Bobby Knuckles is a different type of striker.
Exactly. No, his boxing is leaps and bounds.
There's
above.
levels to this shit.
Exactly. He could definitely learn, oh boy, a couple things. Kelvin Gastelum, for as good as his hands are and as fast as they are, Bobby is just a little, just a tad bit better,
And that the level that we're on, this championship level, I think that, Whitaker may lack a little bit in wrestling to where Gastelum is better. I think that's where all this comes into play. I think that you look at Gastelum as just, he's a little bit better wrestling. Whitaker is a little bit better striking.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it kind of goes on, can Gastelum grind him out? Can Gastelum, wear Whitaker down? And I think it's also interesting to note, these are two guys that both came from 170 up to 185. This isn't where they originally started in the UFC.
Mm-hmm. And I think they found so much success due to not, destroying their bodies with the weight cut.
Yep.
And it's giving them an advantage because, one, they have a speed advantage, and since they don't have to cut as much weight, they also, it seems like they got a power advantage because, these are two devastating strikers at 185.
Boy, that knockout of Bisping that Gastelum had?
DED dead.
Woo! Ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that man, his soul got snatched.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
That's not fair to a man. His soul already got snatched.
2 times in his whole career. No wonder he retired after that.
Exactly. I would have too.
Mm-hmm.
He knocked his head off.
Pretty much.
That was ridiculous. He
tried
punched straight through that man's face.
I was literally about to say, I was like, he really just tried to run his fist through that man's face.
And did. Knocked his head off. Yeah, I think it comes down to where the fight takes place. I think, can Gastelum get the fight to the ground? Can Gastelum possibly, pin Whitaker up against the fence and work some dirty boxing, some cage work? Can he get him to the ground? I think Whitaker stays up. I think that he'll do a good enough job to stay on the feet. He's been working on his boxing at distance. I think that's more of the game plan. That's something they talked about in the open workouts that he worked really hard on, was just boxing at distance. And I think that he's going to be able to do that. I think that it's going to take a little bit of time, but I think by the 4th round, I think we're going to kind of see the same thing. I think Whitaker's just going to wear Gastelum down, and I think that I'm going with a 4th round TKO that Robert Whitaker is going to, and still be the middleweight champion of the world, waiting on Adesanya.
I see the same thing except a 3rd round finish. The one thing that's always been a knock on Kelvin Gastelum is his ability to go to distance.
Exactly.
His gas tank hasn't always been the best. And something else to kind of ponder upon is the fact that he has shorter arms to be in a division like that.
And how much effort is it going to take for him to get close to Robert Whitaker?
Because he's going to want to fight on the inside, and Robert Whitaker fights from the outside.
Exactly. How much effort is he going to waste trying to take Whitaker down early?
Exactly.
Early in each round, early in the fight. I mean, I think that we both kind of feel the same way about this, that, Gastelum is going to end up basically wearing himself out towards the end of the fight because he's got so much more work to do than Whitaker, because Whitaker, that's what he wants, is to stay at distance. So Gastelum's got to find each and every way to cut him off and to get rid of that distance.
Exactly.
So I think it's a tougher fight for Gastelum than it is Whitaker. Like I said, 4th round finish. I've got Whitaker. You got Whitaker in the 3rd. Adesanya by decision. I've got him in the 2nd round. So
yeah, I think that
yeah, that pretty much wraps up 234 for us. We'll be watching live tomorrow night, and
we'll come back next week and hash it all out, see what the results are, and if any of those people on the undercard happen to impress us, or at least just give us a good showing.
Exactly, and that's all you're hoping for, especially with a card like this. I think that you're just looking for a big performance, somebody to really open your eyes to say, oh, okay, that's who that is.
Exactly.
Like the Volkanovski fight that we watched.
We didn't know much about him, and the man made a name for himself that night.
So we both have Whitaker and Adesanya winning. What a fight that'll be if they fight for the middleweight belt. 5 rounds of Whitaker and Adesanya. Imagine the event they could put on in Australia.
Exactly.
That's going to sell out a stadium in minutes.
Mm-hmm. Because, and then it's great because then it'll be, the age-old New Zealand versus Australia.
Exactly.
And it's so many different angles they could go from that. And, Adesanya is going to talk his shit.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to help sell the fight. Mm-hmm. And honestly, that style matchup really intrigues me.
Same.
Because both of them, they know distance. They play the distance game so well. And their footwork is amazing. And their hands are great. And they got good feet. That's the pick'em fight.
And there's almost no strike that either one can pull, can't pull off. You know
exactly.
What I mean? Both of their arsenals are just so deep that, that another one of those fights. I feel like this one's a little bit easier after we kind of talked it out and really analyzed the matchup of Whitaker versus Gastelum. But really another Holloway-Ortega, another matchup like that where it's just like, who wins this fight? Khabib-Tony. Who wins that fight?
Yeah.
Who wins a fight like that? Styles make fights, and those are two amazing styles to match up against each other in Robert Whitaker's boxing and the kickboxing of Israel Adesanya.
Yeah, and then one thing that can't be understated is the fight IQ of both of these fighters. They think about the game completely differently,
Yeah.
Because, Robert Whitaker, after he had his first fight with Romero, and he figured out his Achilles heel, a constant jab to the face. And he took that and he implemented it and stayed on the outside. And he got caught a few times, which is understandable against Romero. But against the rest of his opponents, he's, shut them down and he's made them look less than,
Yeah. And I think that's something Whitaker can also take into the Gastelum fight. I think that would be a good game plan against Gastelum as well. Stay in his face. Keep that jab. Keep him at distance where you want him to be, and just stay in his face.
Yeah.
Stay on him. Make him hesitant to throw anything. If he's stepping in, he's catching a stiff jab. As soon as he comes in to throw his own offense.
The main way I'm thinking about it is when we eventually get this matchup of him versus Adesanya, and how I just can't figure out how that fight would play out.
Yeah. No, I totally understand on that because, how does that play out? If Whitaker, the same thing like we're talking about is going to stay popping that jab and try to stay at distance, that also helps Adesanya because I don't know reach and height-wise, but, I think Adesanya is a little bit bigger than Whitaker.
They're actually, if I'm not, I think Adesanya he might have him by maybe an inch.
Yeah.
But... yeah, Whitaker's 6 foot, Adesanya's 6'1" maybe. Mm-hmm. He may have a bit more on Whitaker with the reach, but it'll definitely be different. He won't be able to employ those same type of game plans against those two.
And the movement of Adesanya is going to be different than anything Whitaker's ever seen. I think that at least with Adesanya, you're fighting Anderson Silva tomorrow night, then all of the boxing experience that Adesanya has outside of mixed martial arts, I think also brings in, a different level of, he's seen so many different things in his career. I think for Whitaker, his style, especially once he's got up here with the elite 185ers, I think his style matches up really well with most of these guys. And with Adesanya, it does not. And I think that's kind of the first time he's really going to experience a stylistically not favoring him going into the fight.
Yeah, the fact that Adesanya's style is, so much more different. And, just to make the lazy comparison, it's almost like when Anderson Silva kind of first, made himself known. It's a style that we haven't seen and we don't have much tape on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's hard to figure out. Nobody's able to, really crack that puzzle just yet. We got plenty tape on Robert Whitaker. We kind of got an idea of what he's about and how he's going to fight. We have 4 fights,
and then the quality of competition that Adesanya is fighting compared to what you have Whitaker. You got 2 fights with Romero. You got a fight with Jacare. You got all of these fights with Whitaker that he's fought top level competition versus Adesanya, who's really fought Derek Brunson at the top of the food chain.
That's
Brunson
about it.
And
Brad Tavares, I think.
Yeah, Brad Tavares.
Yeah, those are his only close to top contenders.
Exactly.
That's the stiffest competition he's fought just yet. So to see how he does against elite is definitely something I can't wait to get answered, honestly.
Yeah. So I think that wraps up UFC 234 with the co-main event and main event. My man Rowdy Ray has Adesanya in a 3-round decision win, and he's got Robert Whitaker taking a 3rd-round finish. TKO?
Yeah.
KO?
I'm going clean KO.
Clean KO, Robert Whitaker.
Yeah.
I'm going TKO in the 4th round, Robert Whitaker.
Think so?
He's going to wear him down, and he's going to finish him. And a TKO in the 2nd round, Israel Adesanya. I think he's going to kind of do the same thing, wear down Anderson Silva. I don't think he's going to be able to hang with Adesanya all 3 rounds.
I just feel like I don't know. I can't picture a finish. But like I said, I've been proven wrong, and I'd definitely be cool with being proven wrong.
I hear you. Fair enough. We will find out on pay-per-view Saturday night.
And that's the episode of the Showbank Show for today. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget to follow us on all our socials, Instagram, Twitter. We're on YouTube. We're also on Podcast Addict. You can do a bulk of your listening through SoundCloud as well. Don't forget to spread the word. Tell a friend, tell another friend, and make sure that friend tells another friend too. Like I said, guys, we appreciate the listens. Showbank's out.